Hey everyone, Brian here, and I'd like to do a response to somebody I subscribe to, and this person inspired me to do a little bit of a new series called the Cartoon Flashbacks. He's known as the Cartoon Fiend, and he does reviews of cartoons in the 80s and 90s. But the one thing Cartoon Fiend talked about recently was the fact that Saturday mornings are no longer the Saturday mornings that we used to know. Basically, he ranted on the fact that back in the day, when growing up, during the 80s and up to the mid-90s, we would wake up on Saturday mornings, probably earlier than anything, get our bowl of cereals, a glass of orange juice, sit down, I think, at the table next to the couch in the living room, or sit down at the kitchen in front of the television if one was there, and we would watch our favorite Saturday morning cartoons. Now, I do agree Saturday mornings are not the same as they used to be. I mean, nowadays, you take a look at someone like ABC, and ABC Saturday mornings are now mostly the Disney Channel for free. You know, if you don't have cable, which mostly a lot of people do, but if you don't have cable, then ABC, regular broadcast television, is probably the best way to go. Oh. And as I said, they're sort of like the Disney Channel / Disney XD for Saturday mornings if you can't get Disney XD or Disney Channel. So, because they show all the same shows that Disney Channel and Disney XD do. So, but back in the day, Saturday mornings were completely different. I mean, they were completely different. I mean, on Saturday mornings, you had the three major networks that are known as news networks. The three major networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, that when it came to Saturday mornings, dedicated 5 to 6 hours of the block to cartoons. That's what they did. And that lasted for, I guess, from the 70s, the early, I don't know if it was, basically it lasted for about three and a half decades almost. That's how long it lasted. Almost 3.5 to 4 decades. But unfortunately, times changed. And when those times changed were around 1992, when NBC, which was one of the mainstream Saturday morning cartoons, started to slowly get rid of the cartoon lineup, and more favoritism towards a more teenage lineup. In other words, the first show that signaled the end of the cartoon Saturday morning lineup on NBC was Saved by the Bell. Because even though you had cartoons like Alvin the Chipmunks and Smurfs and Kissy Fur and Yo Yogi and who knows what else, there was one show that came on after them, and that was Saved by the Bell. Or in between them, that was Saved by the Bell. Now, some of you might say, well, wait a minute, wasn't there a show that was before that called One Life to Live? Not One Life to Live, that's a soap opera. One to Grow On, wasn't that on there? Yeah, that was on there, but that was like towards the end. Saved by the Bell was put in like in between, from what I can tell, and from what I've read and can tell, was put in between the cartoons. So NBC had like 1/2 hour dedicated to Saved by the Bell, while the rest was cartoons. But that was, to me, but as I said, that was the beginning of the end, if you will, of the Saturday morning lineup of cartoons on NBC. The last cartoon to go was Yo Yogi. Then after that, NBC Saturday mornings became the TNBC Saturday mornings. In other words, T meaning teenagers, and you had shows like California Dreams, Saved by the Bell, and others out there. And then that slowly changed into a more weekend edition of the Today Show, which even to this day, I kind of racks my mind of why NBC, ABC, and I think even CBS would want to do weekend editions of the news broadcast, of the weekday morning broadcast. You know, it racks my brain to this day. But NBC was the first to go. Second up was CBS. And as we all know, CBS had a strong lineup in many ways. They had shows like Beetlejuice, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, Muppet Babies, you know, Ninja Turtles, they had Garfield, they had the Wildcats, they had Skeletor Wars, you name it. They had it. They had Raw Tunage, they had Masupalami, like I said, you name it, they had it. And then they started to slowly die out and became more of a news channel kind of like morning for them for a while. And now, you know, for a while, for a couple of years. And now they're trying to come back with this little deal they've made with Dick Entertainment, or the people that now own Dick Entertainment, to do a block of shows to do a Saturday morning block called Kidopolis, which shows like with revamped shows of like Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears, and then original shows like Horseland and some on dinosaurs, well, people turn into dinosaurs. I can't think of the name right now. And of course they have one live action show, but right now they're slowly getting back into Saturday mornings, but it's more of a revamped, more educational version of what we were seeing before. And then ABC, of course, was known for strong Saturday morning lineups. They had the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show. They had Sonic the Hedgehog. They had What a Mess. You know, they had the ABC. They had this weekend storybook hour. You know, they had a whole bunch of varieties on their network, and then slowly they started to switch around to what they are now, and that is a more, as I mentioned at the beginning, a more of a Disney Channel / Disney XD programming for free if you don't have cable block. That's what they are. Now I will say this. There were some shows that were in syndication on the weekdays and on Saturday mornings that were also shown on Saturday mornings. The only difference was there were certain episodes that were broadcast on Saturday mornings than from the episodes shown in syndication. You know, a great example of this would be, let's say, the Ninja Turtles. When they came out to CBS with the fourth season, when CBS picked up the fourth season, they still had episodes in syndication, and some of those season 4 episodes were shown in syndication, while others were shown on CBS. And also they had a different beginning and intro and all that. Same with shows like Disney's 101 Dalmatians, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, Gargoyles, who they spinned off to the Goliath Chronicles, Mighty Ducks, and just a few others out there, you know. And you think to yourself, and you might think to yourself, well, why did we even need to watch these on syndication on Saturday mornings if they're in syndication, or vice versa? Well, it's like I said, it's because they had different episodes specifically aimed for Saturday morning cartoons, for the Saturday morning airwaves. That's where they were shown. Now, at first we thought, with all the networks changing their course, changing the lineups, that was it, right? Wrong. 2 new networks came into the fold, Fox and Kids WB. And Fox and Kids WB did their own variety of lineups. They did, and just like with, as I mentioned just now, with the shows on syndication on Saturday mornings, they did the same thing with Tiny Toons, Animaniacs. They had different shows like Freakazoid, you name it, they had it. Fox had shows like Peter Pan and the Pirates, Eek the Cat, you know, just a ton of others out there, Casper. And these were shows only seen on Saturday mornings. Nowadays, both those things have combined into one to be known as the CW for Kids. And around where I live, it's more of a Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon lineup. And you have shows more educational-wise, you have more anime. So it's a little bit more different than what you normally see on Saturday mornings. And I know, Cartoon Fiend, that's what you look at, that with these kind of lineups that you see on like the CW for Kids nowadays, Saturday morning lineup end up being broadcasted, like I said, during the times they are here, that Saturday mornings aren't as special as they used to be. Well, you know what? I agree they aren't. And I pray and hope someday that they will be again. I mean, if CBS can do this with this Kidopolis deal, who's to say that NBC and ABC won't follow and bring back things to the way they were? You can only hope and you can only pray that it'll happen. And don't forget, we have Boomerang. And true, Boomerang has some shows and everything that are recent, like in the past 4 or 5 years, now on their lineup. But don't sell them short. Don't sell them short. They still have classic cartoons as well. And that's all I could say in my response to Cartoon Fiend's Saturday morning rant. I hope you don't take it in any offensive, Fiend. It's just my opinions. And that's all I could say. And I hope you all have a good day. God bless. Take care.